gonna wash his hands?
Nope. Mototaxi Junket. How did I get roped into it? I was suckered into it by my best friend James.
I am the younger sister of James, who's my brother, who pretty much talked me into doing anything stupid.
My wife has been trying to kill me now for 10, 15 years for the insurance money. So she signed me up for this in the hopes that I would have an untimely demise in a foreign country where they would really spend a lot of effort investigating the actual death.
I talked my husband Donald into doing the Mototaxi Junket, like the fool that I am. He was not all that interested in it, and I told him this would be awesome.
Because the bikes are totally unsuited, which makes them perfect for having an adventure on, but it does mean that the road and the going is going to be difficult and frustrating as well as dangerous. The bikes, obviously, as you are all well aware, they are terrible at everything, from turning to braking to starting to staying upright to not stalling. So they're going to break.
My name's Christopher Ray, and I was born on the east side of Detroit. Lived there all my life. Went to Wayne State University, which is downtown. Later relocated to Ann Arbor. And when I was in Ann Arbor, I worked at a Starbucks downtown. And one of my regulars, James Gutierrez, asked me a very simple question. Like, while I'm making his, I'm pretty sure it was like a triple venti mocha at the time, getting it all together and whatnot, and he says to me, "Hey Chris, what do you think about going to Peru?" And I was like, "Oh man, that sounds like a great idea. That could be fun, you know?" And then he further says, "Well, what I'm trying to do is get a team together of people to race moto taxis cross country in Peru." There could not have been anything in life that would have made me more excited. But I didn't even know what a moto taxi was. Now, a moto taxi is probably is just one of the worst vehicles that you could ever imagine. Think of a tricycle with a couch attached to the back, but the front is a motorcycle, and the motorcycle is like sawed in half with a rickshaw on the back of it. I half didn't believe James when he was saying this. I'm just like, yeah, sure, whatever, let's do this, you know? So a couple months later, and a lot of shots later, so for the start of the trip, the plan is that all of our team members will converge in Houston, Texas. Our team members at the time, it was James, his best friend Pago, Paul, and Alexandra. We were all meeting up in Houston, and when James and we take an early flight to Houston, and we're renting a Challenger, and we have no idea how to start it. Yeah. Huh? Yeah. But it's like, it should be like right here is where you put the thing in, and then, you know what I mean?
I know.
20 minutes later.
Looks like it's got some juice.
It does have that. They did something with all that space. They filled it with juice.
We all make it to Houston. We get ready for our flight to make it to Lima. Because first we fly from Houston to Lima, and then we will fly into Lima to get into Cusco. So we get to Lima, and Pago and I think of is that we need to see which way the toilets flow since we're below the equator.
It's exit salad.
The exit salad.
Exit salad. Okay. All right.
It's probably high in fiber.
Alright, here. Okay, we don't want to go on that one. Okay.
So clockwise. Okay, so here's the point of reference. What does it do in the U.S.?
Does it? I see it's just
totally non-scientific, no control. What is it? This way?
I think it's this way. I think it's this way. I think so.
All right. So clockwise.
Right.
So now we're south of the equator. Let's see if it's counterclockwise.
I think the expectation of the junket was absolute insanity. We watch a lot of reality TV and things like Amazing Race or Survivor come to mind, and it's just about trying to figure out how to kind of survive and get through this thing. So we kind of had that in mind.
I expected the Mototaxis to be shit, but I figured it would be like the fun shit where you kick it and maybe it'll start and maybe it won't, but you'll deal with it. And no, it turns out that those things like are not road safe for the most part at all.
But originally, James and I shared the same research tendencies, and we made a connection ahead of the Mototaxi Junket, and we realized that we both shared a lot of the same risk mitigation and management techniques. And so when I first saw you all there at the Proving Grounds, well, first off, okay, it wasn't James, it was really the Black Pearl. Really, the Black Pearl, who I was waiting to see because of the famous videos I'd seen. And when I saw Chris, I ran up and hugged him like I had known him my whole life.
Chris, I of course recognize
Hey,
Chris.
how's it
Sarah.
going? Sarah, it's a pleasure.
I laying down for your shots. Never, never again will I laugh so hard. I'm Sarah.
Right,
You're
Alexandra, nice
very nice to meet you.
That's Sister Alex.
Oh, Sarah. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you. You are the electronics people, right?
We got to the Proving Grounds and saw the absolute disarray of what was supposed to be all 38 or 38 teams.
38, yeah.
Mototaxis sitting there in a row, all ready to go, ready for us to drive, and none of that was true. What was supposed to be kind of a 2-day step wound up being us working on mototaxis like mechanics for 2 days.
Into the evening.
And I mean, really, that to me, that was the bummer, because I'm like, man, we're never gonna get out of here. We're not gonna. This isn't gonna happen. They're giving us a bunch of junk. You know, it's one thing to tell us that they were crappy because they're Chinese-made light fans and they're not that well put together. It's another thing to actually give us worn out light fans. So.
I don't think so.
Gonna get so heavy, makes the butterfly every tear a
Let's do it.
Their police escort is, it's freaking ridiculous. It's a police car leaving everybody on the side of the road, man.
Here, Tito, keep up with
Yeah,
us.
keep up with us if you can.
So wait, so what's happening?
We got all separated because the traffic cut through the line. So they decided that they would stop here and try to get everybody rounded back up into a herd. And they told us all to stay close together.
Okay.
So we're going to try to keep it under 50 miles per hour. If I can keep up.
Dig it. Thank you.
The launch day, when we had worked so hard to get the Mototaxi ready, and we'd had serious concerns about that we were even going to go to the launch, and when we took off and we tried to get up the first hill, and the Mototaxi wouldn't go, and we realized that it wasn't going to go, and it burned up at the top of Tika Tika, right there in Cusco, and that was when we were walking away from the Mototaxi.
Hey, good luck.
All right, thanks, man.
Absolutely.
Good luck.
Have a good ride. And I hope to...
So what we did when we left Cusco, we went from Cusco to Anta. I had an idea of what a third world.
Yeah.
It was everything that I thought the entire trip was going to be. It was not the wealthiest town at all, but the thing was, they specialize in just certain things. Like each place would be like a different food or just a different type of way of life. For Anta, they had a really amazing Chinese food. While we were eating our Chinese food in this restaurant, and you know, there were dogs just running all around the restaurant, and I saw one who I kind of wanted to name it, but I didn't see it again after we started eating our meal. So I don't know what they put in that Chinese food, but got an idea. So that's what I'm gonna say about that.
We did the start 2.5 on Tuesday instead of Sunday because our Mototaxi blew up on the first day. So we were 2 days later getting out of Cusco.
Go that way. Stop. They're stopping.
Restart, we took off.
Fuck me!
And I made it up the first big hill. I was like, alright, maybe I will make it across Peru on this thing.
Busted.
We went from Anta to Abancay, and Abancay, if you're familiar with the TV series the Avatar, Last Airbender, it really felt like an Earth Kingdom type of place, because this is really big city in the middle of the mountains. And when we talk about the scariest time, I think that ride into Abancay put the fear of God in me, because it started to rain and we're coming downhill into Abancay and we almost get T-boned. spot. I think, I don't know. I just know my life flashed before my eyes. It could have been another mototaxi that was trying to hit us, but in my mind it was a huge truck that almost flattened us in.
Yeah, we took ours this morning in Anta. We took it to the Mototaxi shop. Yeah. Had them like an hour and a half, 150 soles, and they replace brakes, replace the shocks.
And that's for two.
Replace, change oil. Yeah, yeah, definitely worth the time.
Absolutely.
Just fun on the drive.
We got to Abancay and it was killer because these guys called us like right when we got to the city limits. The phone rings and we pull it out and it's like, hey, we're still in town, we'll reserve you a room, just come here. We pull up, get right in the garage, walk in, have a beer and damn dinner right there on the spot, so it was perfect.
It might seem crazy what I'm about to say.
Up the same way. Just kind of losing power.
Losing power and sitting there. And then as we coasted in the here, it's huge delta.
Really?
Blue smoke, so it's definitely oil based.
That's not good.
Right. If you can't, not having a tremendous amount of faith. Do we go back or do we go forward?
I say no matter what, we go forward.
Yeah.
Because if you can't, maybe even
we can't.
The only way you
hire a truck, you'd have to hire a truck to get back.
You'd have to hire a truck to go forward.
Yeah.
Either way.
So
okay,
might as well go forward.
If he doesn't have a clue, then let's talk to a truck. See if we can get a truck. Somebody gonna hire the truck and take it up to.
Or all the way. Let's keep going.
Okay,
fine. Or Nazca. Let's get this shit done.
It's bigger than Shotwell.
Well, he's saying that it's close to go back to Abancay.
Oh, it is. Okay.
And it's safer. Bueno, okay, bueno. Sí, okay, Abancay.
Abancay más seguro.
Is there a truck?
No, hay tiene camión que puede llevar.
Claro, allá pues.
Was that yours?
Okay.
So we put this one on the truck, the other two, you guys want to press on?
How far away is that?
Sahuaca is, ¿cuánto? Media, you said half an hour. So media, con 30 kilómetros. 46 kilometers to Sahuaca.
Acá es
30,
43.
35 back.
Okay. Well, so casi pero
but lots of kids fell. And while we were waiting for the Mototaxi to not get fixed, we split a glass bottle of Coca-Cola. Don played the role of Santa Claus, and it was just the kids there were super sweet, and it was a very, very nice afternoon that would not have happened had things not fallen apart.
And then we'll just go ahead and continue on.
Yeah, you guys actually fine.
This is the this is the contrast. Beautiful city. We killed it driving into there. You know, our first long leg of the race out of Cusco, etc. Felt on a high coming out of the mountains of the town. Nice restaurants, spaghetti, blah blah blah. But we were there for flipping 3.5 days. Could
Yeah,
not
but you went back.
get out of there. Right, could not get out of there because breakdown 1, breakdown 2, piston explosion, and then we couldn't get back out of there. So, I mean, it was a beautiful city. Wish we could give it more credit because it was situated in a great area, great time of the race. But oh my gosh, could not. That was the downfall.
Groundhog Day.
The Groundhog Day. Downfall of our experience.
When we're traveling into Puccio, and that was crazy. That made me question my existence in life. I don't deal well with cold, and what happens is with the mototaxis being so fickle in terms of every piece of weight that you would add on to the mototaxi would really cause it to be sluggish. So here I am. I don't know why I didn't ask, but I thought that we made the longest stretch out of the mountains. So I got rid of all my cold gear because it didn't feel like at the time it wasn't, you know, that cold or whatever. So I got rid of a lot of my heavy weighted winter gear.
I think my favorite unexpected spot was where we stopped after crossing those 14,500 foot plateaus, and we were all so damn cold. And we found that little town, and Alex saw the sign for hot chocolate, and we all stopped. And we pulled in there, and we got hot chocolate and coffee and latte. And well, Paul got the legs with the hole.
I'm going with black unless they're grande.
Alright, wait, hold them up. Hold them up where we can see them. Alright, hold them up and let's see what they're going to look like.
Can I stick it?
No, wait, you have to stand there with them first.
McCoy, oh jeez, cesspool. God bless them, man, for living there if they can. That was the place that we parked our moto taxis behind the hotel, and we had about 2 inches of chicken feces and llama feces all mixed with the mud and the water that we had to trudge in and out of the hotel. And that's the hotel that didn't matter to me that much, but it didn't have toilet seats for the ladies, and no any kind of heat, air. The water was cold in the shower, and right outside our door was the speakers for the disco that was in the living room of this damn hotel. So until like 2 in the morning, they cranked up the music, and so you couldn't sleep.
Was there anybody in there?
No, there was nobody in the place like for the disco.
The disco
except the music.
is what it's
Yeah.
called.
Yeah, so if I had to pick a city, that's it. That's the one I could have drove right through and just kept going.
Right. Out of Puccio.
Let's take the lead to go.
Are you going?
Go.
Oh my god!
Oh, good to see you.
I can't believe it!
Rock and roll.
Y'all don't have, you have their documentation.
I know. I was like, I didn't want to tell you.
I stopped once and it was like, total ignorance here.
Yeah,
It was great.
not just pleading ignorance, actually we were.
I realized it like literally 4 or 5 hours later.
Yesterday,
I wouldn't tell you.
It's unbelievable just seeing as fast as we've seen all through because we've had to like go back and forth. Peru has 5 colors. There's a green. You're about to see brown up here. And then once we hit the desert, it's white. It's crazy.
That's awesome.
And then we hit the seas, you'll see blue. It's just
Holy shit. We like, all of a sudden everything comes to a stop on the Pan American. I mean, dead stop. All these trucks. And we're like, what the hell's going on? And all these trucks, and basically it's 99% trucks, a few cars. They start pulling across the median to the other oncoming lane to keep going. They clearly see something we don't. This bus decides to do it and completely gets stuck because there's a dip and the bus is basically just straddling the dip. So while they're screwing around, we scoot up, because we kind of get between everybody and scoot up and eventually get to the other side. It was a mile and a half of trucks stopped and waiting, trying to scatter over to the next thing because somebody had overturned on a bridge.
Wow.
Yeah, it was insane. The craziest goddamn thing I've seen all week, and I've just been a weird week.
It's been a very weird week.
Now, the other thing I'm going to tell you guys, on the other side of the it's a descent that makes, Amakai about twice as scary and 3 or 4 times as long.
You can't imagine what we went through last
can't
night.
imagine.
I think you guys...
I got altitude sickness. We were up at this thing, and he told me how high it was, and we had to run up and meet each other's height. And I was like, after I got that down, I was like, every symptom.
Yep.
Yeah, I felt much better.
Seriously, it wasn't so bad until it started snowing.
Yeah.
Once the sleet started.
He was frowning.
That smile was gone. That smile was not there. God, it was
Yeah, we saw flamingos.
Who knows where the village was where we stopped for the Three Kings celebration. And
that wasn't even a village, that was like a wildlife reserve.
Yeah. And we watched these little
compound.
families, and they invited us. It was so nice that they invited us to come and watch. And they welcomed us with open arms, and they gave us chicha, the corn liquor, which at 9:30 in the morning is pretty damn much wake-up call. And we watched the kids dance, and it was beautiful. And it was like, this is what I came to Peru for, was to see this sort of thing. Not to see, spring break, but just to see what the real people of Peru do in their day-to-day activities.
I think that there were so many different experiences in that city, especially rolling in just from we just reunited the day before, and just rolling into there, having seen so many sites like the Nazca Lines through the desert, and then doing and accomplishing a fear maybe of heights. How long would you say that dune was? Like 500, 800 feet? It was huge. Yeah. It was huge.
You're talking about the
Oasis.
The Oasis?
Yeah, the Oasis.
Yeah.
I mean, the
Ooh,
sheer...
that might be my favorite.
I mean, it was just sheer beauty of it. It was the activities that went on there.
Yeah, that
and
was
of course, you and I closed out the night at, what, 4 closing out on disco. So that was like the extreme of emotions and activity and just fun.
That was nice. It was flying through windows.
Yeah. Chris Ray flying through windows.
The Nazca Lines were baller, but I'll go back to Wakachina. We all had a blast that day.
Is that the alcohol or just the awesomeness?
Both.
Pico and I got into a little bit of trouble. I mean, I could have gotten in trouble. I did some things. I I did some things. It was fun. So we are in Huacachina, and we know that we want to truck the mototaxis through Lima to get to Barranca. And what we have to do to get trucks is basically there's this main road, and you just stand and you try to get someone to truck. I wasn't afraid for my life, but Don was the one sitting in the vehicle with all of the mototaxis. I felt for his life because at one point they kind of veered away from us, and I'm like, oh my gosh, they are going to harvest Don's organs, and this is going to be one of those kind of things. But it wasn't. It worked out well. So we got trucked to Barranca.
Ooh, that's right, because it was the day after we trucked it.
Right, so it started in Barranca. We had milestone X, but we didn't just do milestone X, we did Y and Z. So I think the goal was to stop in like some other city just south of Trujillo.
It was Chimbote.
Chimbote. We pushed through that, went to Trujillo, and pushed through that, and went through to Huanchaco, and that was just one of those, holy crap, you know, we did all those, and, you know, and the reward was that we were off on yet another great facility. But the labor was a 5 o'clock start, you know, sickness, peril, police, long roadways, dangers, you know, all this kind of stuff. But you know, we clearly rewarded ourselves at the end of that day. So that was a very proud day.
Then we go from Huanchaco to Chiclayo. And once we get to Chiclayo, we know that we're going to make our last run to Piura.
Yeah. That's it?
I set out to do this trip with Don because I wanted us to take an adventure that was beyond the realm of most of the people that we knew. And I wanted to have the chance to interact with other people who were like us. People who took chances, people who risked, as it turns out, their lives, but who risked their personal place in their careers, their personal place in their relationships, and their comfortable place in the world to go out and see and stretch and succumb to the wilds of Peru. And when you look around at the people that we've met on this trip, the kinds of people that are attracted to this sort of adventure, they are the people that I respond to. The beer and a handful of dust compatriots are just the kind of people that I was hoping to find here, and I found them. And the people of Peru that were so warm and friendly, all the way from the cops who didn't fine us, down to the people who helped us in the mototaxi shops, everyone seemed to be helping us on our way and lifting us up with their words and their encouragement and their praise.
It was an emotional race. It was a fun race. Not only were we the first team in, we were the team that raised the most money for Practical Action and the Joshua Smallwood Foundation. So, despite all of the things that were thrown at us, we overcame it. You know, crappy mototaxi, like, we're gonna work through this.
I saw some beautiful country. I had an experience I could not have imagined setting up myself. There were times that I'm not going to say I'm going to feel any sort of nostalgia for, but the good parts, yeah, I will remember very fondly.
The entire highlight of the entire trip was seeing a man that Pago got a great picture of it. But there was a man with a goat tied to it, with about a 10, 15 foot lead to the goat, carrying a mattress over his head. And the picture, which kind of symbolizes the entire trip here, the picture that Pago took is now going to be named Honeymoon.
In all kinds of inappropriate context, whatever you want to read that.
Yeah, and I hope I have that so I can frame it and put it on my wall at home. Because that symbolizes this trip.
That symbolizes this trip in this nation. That's unfair, but anyway.
It is funny.
It is funny, though.